Welcome to Real Talk with Chris, the podcast where we dive into the entrepreneurial mindset through the lens of real estate. We are uncovering the secrets to building success and creating wealth on your own terms. Whether you're just getting started or aiming to scale, this is the place where ambition meets opportunity. Get ready for real talk and real results. Let's get after it. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Man, it's great to be alive. Welcome to the Real Talk with Chris show. Yes, the podcast is designed around those entrepreneurial people, like-minded individuals that are forward thinkers. And yes, real estate, since it is my space and arena that I play in dearly every day, I like to talk about it a lot. But I always have amazing guests on my show, as always, and this week will not be any different. I have an amazing friend that I've been able to become almost family at this point out in Florida, Southwest Florida, in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers area. Lona Leuger, who is an amazing individual, her and her husband, Doug, who essentially been in the real estate for literally over 2 decades now, started from scratch, independent, built their own brokerage boutique, and they managed to build something very successfully over these years. And now they've been in this business. They did join us at EXP back in, I believe, I think it was 2019. When was it? I mean, she'll tell me 2019-ish, or I don't remember the date. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. But the truth is, yeah, they were there. And then, we had some things and they made some different changes in their life and made some separation pieces. But now we're here back again. I feel like it's a reunion of family. But we're going to have a discussion today. We're going to bring on as a guest today, Lona. Thank you for joining me. We're excited to have you all the way from Florida. Hello.
Thank you, Chris. Aloha. I am super excited to be here with you today and to have this conversation and unpack this. This has been weighing heavily on my mind and on my heart for a while, and I just want to get it out there.
I love it. Isn't that what is kind of interesting how we have those things sometimes that kind of weighs down? And I think everybody listening here has had something in some way, shape, or form where we've had something kind of weighs down, right? In our heart, like you said, in your heart. And your mind and your thoughts. And it does create a lot of anxiety, probably some overwhelming sensations. And then obviously it rolls into your entire life, right? Does it not? Like it starts here, then it starts to roll over and seep into other areas. So yeah, it's good to get things off our chest, have discussions and lay it out. And you know what? I freaking respect the hell out of you for coming on here and having this conversation with me today. I swear to God, because most people don't have the balls. Not that we have balls. I'm saying most people don't have the balls to even come on here and do this on a podcast where like literally be extremely vulnerable, transparent, and authentic about who they are, the choices they've made. And let's be honest, everybody on this call has made some choices that they can probably say they wish they didn't. I can raise my hand, right? You too, I can raise my hand. Starting from the age of probably 18 or 19. But nonetheless, here we are. I'm excited to have you on here, Lona. Let's unpack it just a little bit. Again, for those that are in this space, again, this is about real estate related program today. We're talking about Lona Leuger and her husband, Doug, who, again, with EXP. So tell me again, what was the year you actually first did come to EXP? Lona, I can't remember when was that?
It's 2018, February of 2018.
That's right. Okay. And see, I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. So yes, 2018, you came to EXP. We're so excited to have you. You brought your independent brokerage, but at the time you guys had running for quite some time, very successfully. So there was in no way, shape, or form you guys were probably even looking at doing anything other than what you were doing, right? Because it was working. But then you managed to see the EXP model and you flourished, excited, you grew in it. What were some of the things that maybe you did like about it initially from the first go at it when you first came here? Like what was exciting to you about
the EXP model? I was obsessed with everything about it. It was a totally different way to think about our business. It was actually something that we had just built out in our business. We had drawn this out on a whiteboard. And we were trying to figure out in our own brokerage, how do we make every agent an owner so that they would really be sticky to our company and really be rewarded at the highest level for everything that they were doing. So we were daydreaming one day, and in Florida, homes on stilts are popular, right? Yeah. So we built this house on stilts. And we drew it out, and every pillar was something that we wanted to incorporate in our business. And we saw the EXP model, and we were so smitten because it's like our dreams came into reality. everything that we had put on those pillars and drawn out on that whiteboard, EXP had already created. They had already exponentially created something bigger and better than what we even dreamed of.
Isn't that crazy? Like, in all reality, for those of you who've ever owned a brokerage, I did mine too, back in 2000. And we all know the pains, the challenges, the issues, the headaches, the liabilities, the overhead, the costs, right? And then to throw in the other factor, which you guys were smart about talking about, how do we incorporate everybody into this vision of ours, right? Because you're told as leader, right, to picture and lay out this massive vision, like throw the net out there of this massive vision that you have that you want to grow to, make your mission statement. And then next, how do you get people engrossed in that? How do you bring them into this net and be like, hey, jump on board with me. We all got this. Let's all collaborate. Let's be one big fire. Hard. Because in all reality, in traditional brokerage, it's a top-down model. No matter how you want to look at it, it's always a top-down model. It will always be a top-down model. You really can't get away from the top-down model, where the top truly, really benefits financially. The bottom is the one that propels it, but the top is the one that really continues to grow. So yes, you guys were challenged with that. I love it. Putting these pillars in place, the things that you really wanted to create in your model. And here it is. EXP had it. So
That's right. They took the traditional business model and turned it upside down. And as soon as I laid eyes on it, I couldn't wait to join. It was actually Doug that was dragging his feet a little bit on that decision. But I was ready. I was amazed, completely blown away.
I love it. Well, like they say, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. If you're actually in a right space, if we're honest, and if we say the number one problem, I think, is ego. For most, and it was mine. I'll say it right now, raise my hands, it was mine. And all you listeners out there right now that want to shake your head and say, no, yes, it's you. If you're shaking your head, no, it's probably you. It's that, you be that guy or that gal. We all have an ego. And in this business, we all kind of have a massive one. And if we're building something of our own that we throw our blood, sweat, and tears into, oh my gosh, we attach a massive ego to that because it's our baby. It's our baby.
Absolutely.
We feel, right?
Yes.
Right. And so it's hard for us to let go of those things. We have also another thing called control issues. Raise your hand if you're that person, right? I'm a high D. I got control issues. So, right? Hello, welcome. It's like we're in an AA meeting, except we're all walking on our tables saying I've got control issues. Yeah. I stopped being controlled last week. No, it's always constantly going in this business. So yes, we have the ego that's driving us, then this control factor, and then all these other elements. I still run across that today, by the way. I'm having conversations out here on a daily basis with broker owners, individual realtors. And I have so many, it's funny, I have so many different broker owners who are people that actually like to get their broker's license. They still believe that they're going to get their broker's license, build out this massive brokerage, and change the world. And I love your ambition. I'm not negating that. I love you for the dreaming, and that is a great part of life. And entrepreneur, that's welcome to America, right? Capitalism and free enterprise. However, that being said, to think that I'm going to go out and start planting new blockbusters on the corner of every storefront is ludicrous. I'm sorry, you're ludicrous if you think this is going to work. So, but anyways, teach his own, the ego that drives him. Here we are about talking with you guys. You came in here in 2018. You made the so you made the transition, obviously. You saw the light, and here you are. And then you were with us from 2018 till 2024. And obviously, we all know 2021, 2020 was a challenging year, but yeah, it was a great year in real estate for most of us. 22, 23 was challenging. You guys out in Florida got hit with a massive hit. Wow, what was that? Hurricane Ian?
Hurricane Ian, that was in September of 2022. It really wrecked our market. It destroyed so much real estate. It took away entire buildings and homes, and just it really, really did a number on our area and on us, our business. Nothing moved for 3 months after that hurricane because it was just so devastating. Everybody was trying to put the pieces back together of their lives. If you've never lived through a natural disaster like that, you consider yourself fortunate, because it was so hard to ride around and just see everyone's whole life sitting out on the curb as garbage, because people lost literally everything.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, I can probably speak for most. We probably take it for granted. I know we do, right? Every day you wake up in your home and you're good, and you go walk over and turn your water faucet, but you guys probably didn't even have fresh water for a while. running toilets. I mean, things that are basic necessities that you guys
Even
all.
power, right? We had no power for a while afterwards.
No electricity. Oh my God. And oh my God, no Wi-Fi. Probably no Wi-Fi either.
That was a big one for my kids.
I bet. Talk about zombie apocalypse. You imagine that? A world of no Wi-Fi, kids walking around banging into each other, trying to figure out how to get signals. They would lose their mind. Wow.
We were lost.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that. I mean, I don't think people can fathom this. Again, like you mentioned, if you had not gone through a natural disaster like that, where everything is instantly, like overnight, taken from you, I don't think you can really understand and relate to that. To where in a real estate, I mean, just your personal life's one thing. Now your real estate business that feeds your family, it feeds the roof over your head and food on the table, now has been cut off at the knees. You know?
Absolutely. And that's a scary thing to think about, because when your market's in that condition, I mean, Fort Myers Beach was pretty much leveled, and people come down here in the winter for the beach and the warm weather and all the wonderful activities. So it really starts to mess with your mind. Not only is business not moving, but, you know, thinking forward, you're like, who in the heck is going to want to come down here and buy property now? They're going to be scared to death of the hurricanes. And in that moment in time, there was just not as much to do here at all because everything was shut down for so long.
Yeah. Restaurants were closed, shopping places, retail was done. I mean, where were you guys actually going to get goods and stuff? Did you have to travel north, or where'd you go to get your stuff?
So, you know, in the moments after the hurricane, or in the days after that, when we had no power, we would have to, we drove down to Naples a couple times, and we got gas for our generator there because you couldn't get gas anywhere around here. So that was about a 45-minute drive for us. So not the end of the world. And we were fortunate enough to have a generator that would power our house. And so you just did what you had to do. I mean, you just made the best of the situation. And you became very resourceful. We were so fortunate to have a lot of great nonprofits come in with just an endless amount of water and food and tarps for our roofs. And they were just a blessing coming in with all those supplies. And it really, really did help morale. And I will say that I didn't quite realize how strong and resilient people in Southwest Florida are, but it was kind of a beautiful experience on the back end because people really came together to help each other. And that was just an incredible dynamic that I've never seen on such a large scale before.
That's amazing. You do start to see, honestly, I think it's a double-edged sword. You start to see the people that really are truly like the sincere people and who they are, deep-rooted, hearted, loving people. And then they also see the other ones that come out too, right? Like, oh, wow, that guy's not good, or that guy's not good. So yeah, it's impressive to see that. And I'm grateful you guys were able to get through that whole entire thing. All of us were always, we had you guys in our prayers and thoughts. And yeah, to see you guys come back now to where you're at today, remarkable. My hats off to you guys, all of you out in that area. I mean, yes, still Fort Myers. I mean, we were just there with you guys, right, in October of last year, right? And literally, we took that drive through there, and wow, it just still looks kind of obliterated. Like it really has not rebounded. It hasn't come back yet. And so you're still thriving yet, and you're still surviving. You're doing your thing. So again, hats off to you guys, and you're growing. Actually, you actually are growing. I see you guys' business. You've taken back off. You've now rocketed back up, and you're catching back up. Obviously, you have some groundwork to do to catch up, but you guys are definitely seeing some light, and I'm super grateful to have you. So then we fast forward that, all the things that were like pushed against us, that was one of your major ones. Then obviously we can't forget there was a few other nice little hurricanes that came through there. Not quite like Ian, but probably like their sister or cousin, right? It didn't help.
So this past October, we had two back to back, and some people re-flooded that flooded with Ian. So it wasn't quite on the level of scale that Ian was, but it still was a hard time for some folks. So yeah, we've definitely taken our share of licks around here, but at the end of the day, it is what you make of it. You can stay down and exaggerate the situation in your mind and feel like that it's so much worse than it actually is, or you can just get up and put on your boots and help yourself and go help other people and get through it, right? That's all you can do is just get through it. You got to be strong. You got to be resilient. And sometimes that's easier said than done, but that's just what it takes at the end of the day. It takes grit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is easier said than done, but it doesn't matter. It just shows you who you really are, though. When you actually get up and make it happen, that shows you who you are. Like, everybody's great. It's easy when times are easy. Everybody can be great when it's easy. It's when it's rough that really defines who you are. So again, you guys, you and Doug and everybody out there, the entire like family that we out there Doug have now has great faith that it's all come back. So I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you.
So now moving forward here in 23, obviously there are issues, and here 24 comes up. And then, I remember getting a phone call from, I think it was you. And this is actually what we're here to really unpackage today. And, for Lona to kind of get off her chest a little bit. And, I'm not to say that I wasn't disheartened. I was definitely sad because it was like a breakup. I feel like Doug and you and I, we got like kind of a little mini divorce or something. But yeah, I mean, it's life. But, the key to everything in life is like just to talk about, it's perspective and how you look at things, how you react to things, how you show up to things. I've always been an individual who will love people regardless. I always want the best for everybody. And everybody understand this too, uniquely has different situations, different scenarios, different outcomes, different experiences, and not one shoe size fits all in life. It's messy and it's complicated. And yet we do make choices and things that we may at the moment think that it may work, it may not work. I don't know, but I respect the heck out of you guys again for making choices, moving forward and advancing in your life, to thinking that there's an opportunity that potentially could be something better. And I'm the same way. Like if I found something that was actually better in my life, no matter what it was, I would actually take a look at it, and I would be open to even maybe diving into it because I'm not opposed to that. So here we are in 2024. Maybe we can lay this out a little bit for you and kind of discuss some things that led up to that potential decision that you made in I think it's mid 2024, right? Mid of the year kind of thing was
it was actually right at the beginning. Yeah, right at the beginning. I think I made the switch like officially January 1st.
Okay. So yeah, I remember getting the phone call. So maybe it was prior to that, like probably right before like maybe Thanksgiving, Christmas, you and I had this phone conversation.
Absolutely, yes.
And it was like, hey, we've had these thoughts and we've decided a few things and we're potentially, why I let you kind of unfold that and tell us maybe again, what were some of your thoughts and stuff leading up to that, what decision you made. And then we can actually finish it up with what decision you've actually made again. And maybe we can kind of come back to understand why you came back to make that decision. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, and it is however it works. This is definitely from the hip. So there's no real thing here. So yeah, absolutely. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what made you lead up to that point of thinking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the company I moved to, it really reminded me a lot of what it was like when I first joined EXP. When I joined on EXP, I think I was like around agent 5,000-ish at the time. And as you know, Chris, we built this company so rapidly, from 5,000 to 90,000 agents. And it was such an exciting ride. We attracted so many great partners, our stock soared. And our virtual office really thrived through the pandemic when some people couldn't even get in their office doors, right? So, when this new company came along, it sort of felt like deja vu in a way. Like they had a similar business model to ours. And I think they were around 6,000 agents deep at the time. And so, it looked a lot like the same opportunity. And with that being said, we also had the opportunity to partner with someone who's a good friend of ours, who is still a good friend of ours to this day, and the epitome of what you described, Chris. I won't get too far off topic, but I'll just segue for a second and say, when, we told him that we were coming back to EXP and that's where our heart was and our home was, he was like, I still love you guys. I support you 100%. So, seeing that, it being a pre-IPO company, having an opportunity to partner with someone is not only highly connected within that company, but just a giant in the real estate industry overall. So based on those things, like I felt like it was the right decision at the time. And then everything just happened so fast from there. Like I remember telling Doug, I think we should just do this because I'm so decisive when it comes to making decisions. I do not like to let things linger. I don't like to beat around the bush. I pray about it. I give it to God. And if it feels right in my gut, I just go for it. Right. So what literally felt like moments later after telling Doug, let's do this, I went online and I signed up.
Yeah.
I did it. I just took the plunge, right? Both feet first.
Both feet first. I love it. And there's a lot to be said about that. There's a lot of visionary people with drive, ambition and stuff. A lot of times we don't think. I'm that person too, right? I'll jump off the cliff and I'll figure out how to fly on the way down. That's been my philosophy. And a lot of times I may have gotten to the point where my wings didn't actually come out fully and I've crashed, burned my face right in the side of a mountain. But you know what though? I will give myself credit for the fact that I even leaped. And you guys got to give yourself credit that you actually leaped. Life is about changes and evolving. And as we evolve, we make these decisions that are, again, we feel suitable for our life at the given moment. And we all been there. We've all been there. There's not one person on this call or listen to this podcast that's immune to the fact that you've never made a knee-jerk decision about something in your life. Like, I think this is right. Let's just do it, damn it. And there are others though that do sit there and they talk about it and they spin it and they look at it and they flip it upside down and they make sure it's fit. That's fine too. Different personalities, different styles, and I respect all of them.
Absolutely.
So go ahead. So you guys jumped off, you did it 2 feet, and so I want to go back real quick if I can and touch a little bit on the thoughts and the feelings that you were feeling that really kind of motivated you to even kind of get this. And so I would say it's, if I'm hearing it correct, was the sensations and feelings that you felt back when the beginning of EXP was this beginning stage of you being a part of something foundationally that from the ground roots kind of thing, right? Would I be safe to say that? It was like the ground roots kind of thing that you're helping it grow from the base to the bottom. And so essentially was this kind of the thought process that was segued into like, wow, we could be a part of this at the ground roots too. We could be a part of this in the very beginning and see it through. I mean, what exactly about that made you feel really, really comfortable?
Well, it just worked out so amazing for us with the EXP, know, and sometimes you feel like big risk equal big rewards and you make big decisions. And, for me, I studied the model. We went over the model together. I felt comfortable with the company because it was quite similar to EXP. And so, it really didn't feel like it was different or scary or anything like that at the time. It just felt like this is what I need. Maybe this is next level for me. Let's go. Let's just give it a shot, and I always look at things like what's the worst that can happen, right? If I don't like it, I can always go back to where I was. But with that being said, I am not the type of person that goes backwards. Like it's really not me because I typically just, once I make a decision, I'm committed to it. And I feel like going backwards is actually taking a step backwards in life. But in this case, going back to EXP was actually taking a step forward because in all of this, Chris, here's one thing that I realized, and I'll be super, super vulnerable with you and your audience today. So, that we all go through different seasons in our lives. And I think the truth is, for me in this particular season, I felt stuck. Okay. And I don't know if it had to do with, the trauma we had gone through with the hurricane or what it was. But the truth is it was just me personally. It really had nothing to do with the company that I was with in the first place. The issue was me. I had to really do the work to uncover that. And once I did, and I realized that, I couldn't wait to come back home to EXP.
I want to thank you for being vulnerable. Number one, transparent. Authenticity is the highest form of energy in this world. So thank you for sharing that. And I think a lot of people actually just listening, if you're completely honest with yourself, understands and relates. Because as we all know, I can do is attest this that time and time and time again. I know tons of agents that actually jump in, in these last, like you, I've been in this business for 24, 25 years, and I've seen them come and go.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people leave brokerages because they just got into a tussle with the broker, managing broker, right? And it's like, I'm leaving. Was there a real reason with the brokerage? No, not at all. It was just a personal conflict they had, and they were out. I've had them see them leave because they were messing with their commissions. And obviously, we never want to mess with our money. So they mess with the money, like, I'm out. Really didn't have anything to do with the broker. Maybe at that time, just some issues with some, financial, transactional pieces that happened on the payroll. I don't know. But it wasn't really necessary the brokerage, right? And then people leave with this other mentality sometimes of the grass is always greener on the other side. But as we all know, too, that saying goes on, it's always greener where you water it, too. But for you, I appreciate you for saying that, because I think a lot of people that are honest with themselves will say that it's them.
I mean, I know it's not what people want to hear, right? I get it. People want a juicy story, but there's absolutely no tea to spill here. Like, the truth is, I left EXP with nothing but love and admiration in my heart for the company. I say this all the time, but it's the truth. They changed my life, and they changed the lives of a lot of people that I care about. So there was absolutely nothing that happened. There was no ill feelings. There was nothing going on except for what was going on inside of Lona at that time. It was just me. It wasn't them. Truly.
I love it. And so now we've, and how long were you over there? What was it?
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
In anything that you implement in your business, I've always been taught that when you implement something new in your business, you should at least give it 6 months to test run and see if it's really a good fit for you or not.
Right.
And, so I went into it with that in mind and with that commitment in mind. And by about month 5, I honestly couldn't take it anymore. I had to come back home. And so I said, I really don't need to give this 6 months to test it out. Again, it wasn't the company's fault that I left to begin with.
Right.
And I just want to go back home. I helped build, again, I came in around agent number 5,000-ish. I recruited a lot of agents to EXP. I feel like I helped build this company like brick by virtual brick. So my heart was really in it, and it was still attached to that. And I missed our group. I missed relationships with people like you, and you've traveled out to our area. You've thrown multiple events with us. You've done nothing but be wonderful to us and try to help us grow. And, at the heart of it, that's really what it's about. Like, I had great business partners over there. So that wasn't a missing element. I don't mean to say that at all. I'm just saying that I built something here, and it was my little baby, and I loved it. And I didn't have a good reason to go away from that to begin with. So by that 5th month, I was just like, I don't need this. This is not a test run for me. I know where I belong, and I just need to get back there and get things back on track. And I hope my partners will forgive me.
Well, hey, it's always kind of messy, like we say, but we always, at the end of the day, ultimately, if we really are truly about the right reasons, support one another, it's always should come from love, right? And we want to love on people to the fact that, just like when you guys gave me that conversation, I was like, I love you guys no matter what. Same way. I love you guys, and you're always welcome back. Anything I can do to help support you, even after you went to the other place, I'm like, I'm always a phone call. If you want to call me. Like, that doesn't end because you decide to go to another brokerage. Like, that's superficial to me. That's not real. If my relationship with you as a friend stops because you leave my brokerage, that just was never a real friendship.
Right.
It was always based on the assumption that if you stayed, I would be there as a person, which there's a lot of people in this world like that, by the way. They are very, very, I don't even go in there, but yeah. reality is there's a lot of people who actually do show up that way, and they'll pretend to be one way in the face, but really in the back end there's someone else, and you'll see that person when things don't go their direction or their way.
You're right, and I don't have any regrets about this, and this is why. After I reflected on this situation, and I found out I just needed to figure out what was going on with me and do the work to improve that. It's really everything that happens to us in life is something that it's an experience that teaches us something. And for me, all of this was just truly a full circle moment that showed me where I really belong.
Well, like you said, you guys had just come out of a massive traumatic, like natural disaster to you, your home, your family, everything. So any normal human being would probably be going through something in their mind where they're starting to really reinvent things, or maybe rethink things, or reevaluate things, or figure out where's my real place. Like, you guys didn't even really have a place that you really called like my home, that was taken away from you guys. So then it's like, where was home? And like you said, you've come back here to EXP because this was your home. And, at that point, maybe that was just a separation, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, yes, you're open to the fact that you made the decision, and now you realize where you really want to be back at. And we love having you back. It's been amazing. I'm so excited to continue. And again, I saw you guys in October, and I'm hoping this next October we'll be out there again, for EXP Cons. I'm hoping to do another little event, even twice the size. We'll make it grow and then really hang out with you guys again. So I loved every bit of that. So now you're back. And so for those that are listening, probably always question like, okay, we're very, very little kind of incognito about saying names, and I'm totally respectful. I won't say any names at all either. We'll keep those out if you want to keep those out. But here we are again back at EXP. You and you guys have been back now since how long now?
We've been back since May of 2024.
2024. And, and now everything is starting to really evolve, and like your business is coming back, and you guys are really plugged into your business and really going at what's you're really good at and what's important to you. And, thankfully you and Doug are an amazing team that you guys have always been together working at this. And now Doug's working on one end, you're working on the other end. We're going to continue to grow this thing. And, I love the competition. And Glenn Sanford says it himself. He's so excited that we have this newfound competition that's now in this play field. Because the reality is, when you're playing this game alone, you tend to get a little bit lackadaisical. You really do. When you're the only guy at the top, you don't really pay attention to sometimes the cracks in the ceiling, because there's nobody to compete against. Nobody's really kind of crawling up behind your curtail trying to take over or whatever and gain momentum. So you're like, no need. But now that we have this, it's great. I love it. I love healthy competition. I love this. But the reality is this, I always say this, EXP will always be the number one in this space. I don't care. Anybody can argue it. They can try to talk about it till their breath falls out. But EXP will always be the number one brokerage in the world that started the cloud-based model.
Absolutely. We're the pioneers of that.
Yep. And as you can see, we did something right, because every brokerage now that's popping up model-wise is trying to duplicate and imitate us, right?
Of course. Yeah. And I agree with you. I couldn't agree more. I love that there's other competition and there's similar models out there, because of that, that keeps us all sharpening our axe. It keeps EXP on top of things as a company, and they just keep continuing to enrich the benefits for us agents. So in my mind, it's nothing but a positive.
Absolutely.
And I love it. That just since we've been back to EXP since May, revenue share has already increased twice. Like, they have made it so sweet, and they just keep sweetening the pot. Like, how could you not love that?
Yeah. Well, I heard a little bird possibly talking about something that might be coming down again. I don't know. I can't say, but I have heard some conversation about it. So, but just also means this: we are always innovating. We are not sitting there in a chair, hanging out, kicking back with our feet up, having a bag of potato chips saying, oh, we made it to the top. We're good. We're number one. We're never going to be passed up. No, we are always on guard. And so my point in saying that is that I heard an interesting comment the other day, which, we thought about, like even my boy Dylan over here, the big guy, I love that dude. But he says, it doesn't matter every time somebody does get innovative and decides to create a really new idea that may be like groundbreaking, guess what? We can duplicate it, copy it, and take it just like they have it too, and probably make it better because we have the time, money, resources, everything, probably
technology.
Technology than they do. And so guess what? That puts us right back on top again. So we're always going to be like that kid that's probably the sixth grader that's in the third grade playground that's always dominating the tethered ball that you want. That kid, he's always a kid. He always gets it. We're never going to beat that kid. Yeah. EXP is always going to be that kid. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. We always will be. First to market, first to develop what we developed. And I'm saying, when you think about this, when it comes to video streaming, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
It's like Netflix, right?
Everybody's Netflix. Now, every other model has adapted it though, right? Hulu does it. Amazon does it. Shoot, regular TV does it. YouTube does it.
Disney Plus, HBO Max, all of them.
They're all doing it. But who is the one you always think about when it says, oh, you remember when we changed? Oh, Netflix.
Because they revolutionized that. They're the ones that took Blockbuster down, right?
And so we will always be, and I'm sorry if I'm disheartening or making people sad out there just listening to this, but yes, we will always be the Netflix. We'll always be the Coke. We'll always be the Nike. We'll always be the Air Jordan. We'll always be the Kleenex, because people say, oh, give me a Kleenex. No, it's a tissue. But no, we say, give me a Kleenex because they've been known that Kleenex is the brand that people go to when they want something to wipe their nose. It's sad, but it's true.
Yes.
It's marketing 101. EXP's that. So we're back. We have you. I'm so grateful to have you and Doug. What's on the horizon for you guys now? I mean, so obviously you made your choices. And again, I respect that. And I'm glad you guys had to go and do what you had to do. And you're back and you see what you see, and you realize that your full potential is here. Not to say you couldn't do it over there, but I always look at this too. We just had recently, who was that? Spring Bensky, or is it Benskin from Real that came over to EXP? I'm going to say that name. Yes. She came over from Real. Number one revenue share, like one of the top, I think, revenue share earners in that model. 7-figure from what I heard. 7-figure on the revenue share. She left, came to EXP, and people asking, well, why? Why did she come to EXP? It's like, why did you go from Lowe's to Home Depot? I mean, why did you do that? They're both warehouse. They both sell nuts and bolts. They both sell lawnmowers and lawn equipment and patio furniture. But why? Well, in reality, I always use this analogy. You know, it's like Spring, like you guys, have top 10 level talent and skills. You guys are a top 10 level. You guys are level 10. You're level 10 players. You've proven that year over year over year in this history of real estate business. You and Doug both. You've shined, you've built, you've developed, you've grown. Amazing business in Florida. And you are a top 10 level player in that field in Southwest Florida. Imagine being a top 10 player, but in a top level 5 platform. You're not
maximizing your full potential there, are you?
No. I want to move into a high rise that doesn't have a penthouse. I'll never live in the penthouse because it only has 6 floors.
Yeah.
Well, you can wish, dream, hope, and wish to God you could live in a penthouse, but you're never going to get the penthouse. I'm sorry. You just won't. So a lot of these players are seeing their top 10 level talent and skill is not matching up with their top 5 brand. It's just what it is, people. I mean, take a look at that right now where you're at. It's important. Where you do business, people always say who you do business with is important. I want to say where you do business is important too.
Where you matters.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
It does. And so here we are. You guys are back, and you're on the horizon. So we're now moving forward. I'm sorry to ask you, what were some of the things that you and Doug, I know we had a conversation the other day about kind of your design of what you're looking to do, and what does this look like for you potentially moving forward? If I can ask you that, like now that you're back in the saddle and you're revving the engines.
We're back doing our thing. We're crushing transactions, and we're looking to partner with other good agents, you know. So I want to put that out there. That is definitely something that I don't want to left unsaid. Like maybe you left EXP and you're really struggling with that decision, but maybe you left for different reasons than I did. Maybe you didn't feel like you had the right sponsorship or support the first time around, or Maybe you just didn't know how to like maximize all the benefits of this incredible company. And if that is the case with you, I would love to have you reach out to me. I'd love to have a confidential conversation with you and see if we can help fix that.
Totally. In fact, we decided together collectively we're going to create this thing essentially twice a month now to make it a free space where it's not threatening. It's a safe space. If you want to come check out, we're going to have a mastermind think tank kind of group where it's called Why Not EXP. That's right. So it'd be like this, obviously in a virtual Google Meetup environment, but kick back with your favorite beverage. Mine will probably be a coffee or a water, but hey, if yours is a wine, a Chardonnay, or a cab, go for it. And we'll talk about these things. We'll unpackage. We'll show. There's a lot of new things, by the way. Like what you said, Lona, if you had left recently, there's a lot of things that EXP has changed on the RevShare 2.0. That's amazing. So many opportunities that we're now doing, right? That Glenn has designed, the company as a whole has designed to help really elevate the agent because we are the owner in this company.
Yes. And there is something that I want to say to other agents out there that have, maybe they've always been curious about EXP, right? They heard about this new model, and I get it. Like in the beginning, in the early days, a lot of people thought that EXP was some kind of MLM or some kind of gimmick, right? They thought it sounded too good to be true. So they didn't want to believe in it, right? But like you said, Chris, we have proven ourselves over and over again as a company. We've proven that EXP is where the pros go, right? Yep. We're trading on NASDAQ. We're doing more transactions than any other independent brokerage. And we are really setting our agents up for success by giving them a business model that helps them better prepare for like retirement and just develop other pillars of income altogether. So, I'm a realtor and I actively work in this business, and I know exactly what it's like to feel those long days and those long hours and that grind. Agents work nights, they work weekends, some work during their kids' ball games and stuff like that. So if that's you, maybe you were a little skeptical at first, but you've been watching us and you've been curious and you've sort of been on the fence about asking. Now is the time, guys. I think that you really, really owe it to yourself and your family just to be open-minded about the opportunity. And if you're willing to have a conversation with me, we'll just talk about it. We'll see if it's the right fit for you or not. And if it isn't, we'll still agree to disagree and we'll be friends, right? But if it is, I'd like to help you because it has certainly helped me. And I'll say it again, it has changed my life exponentially.
Yes, indeed. I think everybody can attest to that change in your life. So that's a great story. I appreciate that. Lona, thank you for coming on the show today, for sharing your story, for opening up, for being vulnerable, being transparent, and authentic about where you're at and what you're going through. Because again, this is a struggle I think that every human goes through, but so many people are afraid to talk about. And yet we sit and suffer in silence, and we go through these things. We in the back in the dark at nights, we slip back and forth and go to different brokerages and change because we're looking for this thing that might feed our soul or make us feel whole at that any given moment. And
I think it's going to solve another problem, but that's not really the problem, right?
No, right. Like we're going to go over there and think all is well and things will just unfold and butterflies and rainbows will pop up tomorrow. And I'm not saying it won't, but you can't run from something that you don't understand.
Right.
People just don't know what they don't know. And yes, we're not sitting here trying to tell you, oh, we want it. Here's the other thing. I'm in a space now, in a place that I want to build a massive community to create this opportunity to bring people that I want to work with and partner up and business with. But that doesn't mean it's everybody, by the way. It doesn't mean it's everybody. I don't want everybody. I really don't.
No, I don't either. I'm looking for agents that are a great culture fit for our group. I'm looking for like-minded agents who want to get after it and they want the same things. They want that difference for their family. And are just open-minded to the opportunity and to the change. And I'm an open book, right? I'm happy to share my experience with anyone that it can possibly help, because like you said, I'm sure there's people in a similar situation. And, we get that deer in the headlights thing every now and then where we think, hey, I'm in this spot, maybe this can help. But then we do the work on ourselves and we uncover like that was never it to begin with. So I can help you. I'm glad to share my story. I'm glad to be honest and transparent about the whole journey. And I'm just so glad to be back at EXP. I love you, Chris. We are so grateful. Doug and I are so grateful for everything that you've done for us. We couldn't appreciate you more. And I want you to know that we appreciate your friendship so much.
Likewise. And again, I think it's another beautiful part that people don't think about. They just think about, oh, another brokerage, but no, you actually come into another family. And it is. We've been able to build a family that's been all over the world, and people I never would have connected ever to, and now I do. And these relationships are priceless. Like I couldn't even put a price tag on it. Like it's family.
It is a family. It is a family. You nailed it. You're right. Because, people like you, people like Brent Gove, like I have business partners that are willing to move mountains for me. And that is just like, I get goosebumps saying that. It's the truth, but it's such an amazing feeling to know that you're partnered with people that really care about you and the well-being of you and your family, you and your spouse, you and whomever, and how that has a trickle down effect on everyone in your circle.
Oh, well, I think if we're all being completely honest, it's always been what's in it for me financially, right? If you thought about anything in the past, in either a traditional brokerage or anywhere else you went, even as a team offering your services and your systems and stuff, it was always like, well, what's in it for me? If we're being honest, for me, and how am I going to get compensated? What am I going to get? How am I going to get compensated? So this is why EXP really kind of subtly makes this work, because the reality is it's a win-win model. Everybody's an owner in this company. And so everybody wants this company to succeed. We want to see our stock, because the more we all improve, the better our stock improves, the more money we all make. It's our retirement. It's our end game. So yes, there is a financial connection on top of it. I won't lie to that. Because money does drive people. Whether you want
Nobody's out there working for free. Nobody.
So we've created a model that literally essentially helps that. It helps you create that. You still go out and help people because that's the person you are. And ultimately you will get what you are supposed to get. This is the perfect analogy to that. Help others get what they want to get, and you will get what you want to get. This is how it works. So yes, I will pour myself into you guys all the time, because this is the way I can grow too. But you guys grow too. We all grow. So it's
everybody wins.
Everybody wins. So yes, this is not one of those top down where the top kindly always gets to be raised and the bottom keeps being that propulsion. We blend it and everybody now wins. Everybody wins. So yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you again, Lona, for coming and taking the time all the way over there in Florida. You got big, massive change difference in time here. But again, always the listeners are listening here. We hope this was of value to you guys today. Always plugging into Real Talk with Chris, and hearing Lona's story and learning her journey and where she went through and the process she made and some of the things she unfolded and the things she shared with us through her vulnerability and transparency. It does assimilate and align with probably a lot of you out there that are listening right now. So please give her a call. Hit her up on social media. Lona Leuger is myself. Team Freedom of EXP is my Instagram down below. You can see it there, the Japanese Cowboy. Yes. So we're excited to help you guys out. Look forward to seeing you on the next show. And always, I have these interesting guests, and I love you guys always. So thank you, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day.